Folks, Daniel Jeremiah has come out with his mock draft 3.0, and there was a pretty surprising pick regarding the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and what they may do with their first round selection. So, let's go ahead and take a look at it here. As you can see, Bryce Young number 1, CJ Stroud number 2. It's been pretty interesting regarding who is going to be the number 1 overall pick, be it Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. You guys can debate about that. Doesn't really have anything to do with this video, but I find it pretty interesting. You go down, you see Anthony Richardson going overall number 4 to the Indianapolis Colts. I think that that's a pretty reasonable thing as well, but you keep on scrolling down, you have a lot of different guys. Jalen Carter, Devon Witherspoon, Tyree Wilson, Christian Gonzalez. I'm a big fan of him coming out of Oregon. But you keep on going down all the way to pick number 19. Look, Peter Skoronski, Lucas Van Ness, the wide receiver from Ohio State, Miles Murphy, Nolan Smith, Bijan Robinson at 14. But if you go all the way down here to pick number 19, you can see here, Daniel Jeremiah in his mock draft 3.0 has the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting Will Levis, quarterback out of Kentucky. And here is the little blurb here. If Levis starts to slide, I believe a team like Tampa Bay will trade up to get him. In this scenario, he falls right into the Bucs' lap. Levis would compete with Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask for the starting job. Now, I am not saying that Daniel Jeremiah is a bad reporter or anything along these lines, but his logic in reasoning for this selection, I will be completely honest, does confuse me a little bit. Because you see here, if Levis starts to slide, I believe a team like Tampa Bay will trade up to get him. That line first, trading up to possibly get a guy like Will Levis. Now, in this scenario, he has Levis falling to the Buccaneers at pick 19. First off, I don't necessarily think that that is going to happen, but trading up to get Will Levis, that is a very interesting situation because even here, Daniel Jeremiah admits Levis would compete with Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask for the starting job. Would not be automatically the starting guy, just a guy to compete. That is where I get some confusion here. And I would agree. I think that if Will Levis was the pick here in the first round, he would not be the starting quarterback right away. You have Baker Mayfield there, who the Buccaneers brought in and they like a lot. You have Kyle Trask, who is there, and the Buccaneers like a lot as well. So where does it make sense to take a quarterback at pick 19 or even possibly trade up for a quarterback at pick 19 in the form of Will Levis if it's just going to be a guy that is going to compete, where you do have some other guys that could be starters right away? You take a look further down the board here, you have certain other guys, maybe a cornerback, Deonte Banks, Joey Porter Jr., maybe a wide receiver. You have Jordan Addison. You have Zay Flowers. You scroll down a little bit further. You have some guys like maybe Mazi Smith, who could be a starting defensive lineman. You have Darnell Wright, who could be a starting offensive tackle option for the Buccaneers. These are all different types of guys that could be considered at pick 19, and that isn't even to say that if you scroll up here, some other guys like Kalijah Cansey, I think that he would be a fantastic addition for the Buccaneers. If Broderick Jones is there, if some of these other guys, maybe Paris Johnson, although he's probably not going to be there for the Bucs. Point being is that there are certainly other guys that could be taken with that 19th overall pick around the Buccaneers pick already in this mock draft that would start right away, that you know could give you meaningful snaps and not just come in and possibly compete for a starting job. I think that whenever you look at this 19th overall pick and you look at the selection that the Buccaneers need to make, it isn't a guy that could potentially start. It needs to be a guy that you have a very strong indication is going to start. Now, you could make the argument that, well, Will Levis could be the Buccaneers franchise quarterback. I don't completely understand that, but why would you go out and sign Baker Mayfield? Why would you go out and put so much confidence behind Kyle Trask and then just go and bring in another guy into the mix? Doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense for me. I am going to be making a separate video as well talking about the idea of the Bucs taking a quarterback period in this upcoming NFL draft, but here at pick 19, for me, look, I love Daniel Jeremiah. This dude is an absolute wizard, but maybe he's just getting a little bit bored and just maybe looking to spice some things up with these mock draft types of scenarios, because in my opinion, the Buccaneers taking Will Levis at pick 19, I mean, maybe it's a possibility. I think that, that could be intriguing for the Buccaneers. At that point, heck, maybe they would trade back in that scenario. But I don't necessarily see the Bucs taking a quarterback at pick 19. I don't see the Bucs certainly trading up to get a quarterback in this NFL draft, and I think that that 19th overall pick could be used in other ways, be it possibly trading back to acquire more assets to build depth at other position groups, or just taking a starter at a certain group, such as offensive tackle, maybe wide receiver, or maybe along the defensive line as well. But you guys can think totally differently. Maybe you like the idea of Will Levis. And don't get me wrong, Will Levis, hey, why not? Intriguing quarterback, right? Does have the potential to be a franchise guy. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense for the Buccaneers in this scenario. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I would love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, folks, I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.